Hello and welcome to the weekly gaming roundup for the 11th of December 2020. I thought this week's gaming news would be pretty dull, but oh my gosh, the Game Awards 2020 has just happened and there are a lot of things happening. So the bulk of this video will probably be a lot of Game Awards 2020 news and also a few other things like Cyberpunk 2077. So the Game Awards 2020 just happened this morning at the date of this recording. And I must say there are a few very good awards given out to some certain games that are pretty okay, but there are also some very questionable awards. The Game of the Year award goes to The Last of Us Part 2. I am not going to comment whether The Last of Us 2 deserves that title, but it is a very good game. And granted that there are a lot of other good games as well, like Doom Eternal and Final Fantasy Remake that was released this year, I think it was a pretty tough fight for that award. The game also won the Best Action and Adventure Award and also the Best Narrative Award. But then the controversy also appears when The Last of Us 2 actually won a couple more other awards that I think other games would probably have a better shot at. Stuff like better game direction. I think Final Fantasy VII is much better, but I don't know, I'm not the judge. But hey, speaking of Final Fantasy VII, it actually won the Best Role-Playing Game of the Year. And other awards to note like the Best Multiplayer Award, Among Us actually beat out games like Valorant and Call of Duty to win that title. It also won the award for the Best Mobile Game. And to see Among Us beat out like Valorant and also Call of Duty for Best Multiplayer, it really goes to show that the premise of your game is the most important, and if it is able to be enjoyed by a lot of people, you have a winning formula. And if you are interested in knowing more about the other awards and also all the winners for those awards, you can actually go to the Game Awards 2020 website and you can check out the whole entire list of awards given out there. Awards weren't the only thing that was given out during the Game Awards 2020. There were a lot of trailers and also announcements for new games that are coming out in the future. And one of them is a Left 4 Dead spiritual successor in a sense, Back 4 Blood. So the premise basically is just like Left 4 Dead, you start from a safe house and then you go through the levels, killing zombies and all that. But the gameplay is modernized and you can actually aim down sights just like in Call of Duty. I think it really looks like a Call of Duty zombies equivalent in a sense. The game looks extremely promising even though it is still in its alpha phase. I think they're going to release like an alpha beta thingy online for people to try out. But the game looks absolutely phenomenal for the state it's in. And besides that, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate introduced Sephiroth into its roster. If you're not familiar with the character, he is actually the antagonist for Final Fantasy VII. And since Cloud was in the game since forever, I think it is a good step that you put the main villain of the game together with Cloud into Super Smash Bros. They even teased him stabbing Mario in the chest, but obviously it's a fake out. But that was absolutely amazing. Cyberpunk 2077 has finally been released after that long wait time and also so many delays this year. I've played the game, it is amazing. But I'm not going to give a review of the game because I think it is a game that you should go out and buy and experience it for yourself. But, very big but, make sure you have the hardware for it. So for the PlayStation and the Xbox versions, the game is actually running on previous generation's hardware requirements. So what I mean is that the game is actually optimized for PlayStation 4 and also Xbox One X, but it essentially is running the same on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. All the next gen graphics are not included into the game yet, but I can see why. First and foremost, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are all running AMD hardware, so the CPU and the GPU are all AMD stuff. And Cyberpunk 2077 is not optimized for AMD graphics cards just yet. So even if you play it on PC, if you do not have an Nvidia RTX graphics card, you absolutely have no way to turn ray tracing on and play the game at its ray tracing capabilities. The game looks absolutely great with ray tracing turned on, and sometimes the game even runs better with ray tracing turned on compared to the non-ray tracing counterpart, I don't know how the game works. But even then, I'm playing it on 1440p with a 3090 and my frame rates are like what? 90 to 100 and that's about it. I think if I turn DLSS on, it will be much better, but hey, it is a first-person single-player campaign. I don't need high frame rates for it. I think if you can get your game to run at 60 FPS, it is more than enough to have an enjoyable experience. Even graphics cards like 3060 Ti and also the 3070 is able to play the game at 60 FPS at 1080p with all the little ray tracing shebang turned on. But it does use up a lot of CPU power, a lot of GPU power, so make sure your computer is adequately cooled or else the whole system will definitely heat up. If you're someone who is lucky enough to have gotten a RX 6800 or 6900, you just gotta wait a little bit longer for CD Projekt Red to optimize the game for the AMD cards. And I believe when that happens, the game will also be optimized for the consoles. So that's all for this week's gaming roundup. Next week, I'm going to put out a video covering the top 5 gaming news of 2020. So this list is just going to close out 2020, and let's just face it, 2020 has been a terrible year for a lot of people, but it has been a very good year for gaming. People have been using games to keep their mind active and also be a little bit more social, like, playing Animal Crossing in their homes. So I think it is a very good year for gaming. So till next week, stay safe, and I'll see you for the top 5 news of 2020. Yeah!